it's just these small little incremental steps that you can take every day. As long as your mind's working and you're flexing your muscle, then you'll get it done. Whenever you get it done, just imagine how good you'll feel. Even if nothing comes from it, who cares if you even make money off of it in the end because you did it and it connects with people. And it is your divine purpose to do this. If you feel it and you have something that you must say, and it's so unique to who you are, it is literally a divine purpose. And you are wasting your gift if you get stuck in that muddle and you don't do anything about it.
Tyler Forrest, welcome to Produce Your Passion.
Yo, what's up, Sam?
What's going on, man? I'm just going to start this one right out the bat. We just met. I got an invitation from Kill a Mind. Shout out to Kill a Mind,
Shout out.
the music artist. And he's like, hey, I was in this film. Come check it out. We're doing a premiere down at the AMC at City Walk. And I'm like, I live right down the road from there. And I was looking for an excuse to go see the new Superman movie sometime soon anyway. So I'm like, okay, I'll go see the Superman movie. Then I'm going to go to Strings, your
Oh,
movie.
nice. So you did the double feature.
I did the double feature and no idea what your film was going to be about. Like I went in completely blind. Like just,
Yep.
I'm just showing up to this thing and boy, was I blown away, man. And I have to say, one of the best things, like when you said, like, yeah, we spent no money on this movie. Like the only money that was spent was like to rent this theater, and we just
Literally.
all just made this happen. And like, and I know besides Kill a Mind, I know no one else there. I'm like, oh my god, that's Produce Your Passion. I'm like, this is Produce Your Passion to a T.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I had to talk to you. So we'll get into it. For those that don't know you, who are you? What do you do?
My name is Tyler Forrest, and I'm an artist. Mainly, I'm a musician. I'm a songwriter, a performer, artist, and a music producer. But I'm also a filmmaker. And the way I got into that goes way back. I'm 36 years old now, which is crazy. But I've been doing the music thing, since I was like 16 years old. And just to sum it all up, the music is what led me to the filmmaking. And the way that happened was I was in this band whenever I was younger in Louisiana. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. And we had our thing going on. We had our following, and it was my passion. I was so into being in the band and playing shows and stuff. And that really opened up some interesting opportunities down in Louisiana where the film industry was booming at the time. And being in the band and being the charismatic person that I was, it gave me some opportunities where I found myself on set as an actor. And I stepped into this filmmaking world when I'm just a musician who thinks he's on top of the world and knows everything, and I was exposed to Hollywood in this sense. And I started learning about filmmaking, every aspect of the crew and every aspect of the development and the production and what it means. And it really clicked to me, and it set me off on a journey for the next 15 years of making films alongside with making music. Primarily, I'm a musician, which is why the film you saw is a music movie. It's just something that I wanted to do forever, like my entire adult life. And but to me, they go hand in hand. That's why I say I'm an artist. And I think that in this day and age, really, like that's what it takes. If you want to build your own business, I think it takes stepping into these different realms and tying it all together and finding your voice through that. And so I'm a filmmaker, musician, mainly a performer. I do a thing called Rowdy Hop, which is my music act, which is like a southern rock, rap fusion, just high energy music, like hit music. I mean, quotation hit music, like high energy shows and stuff. And I do that, and I love doing that so much. And I take that to a venue that I've been playing at for the past 8 years, 7, 8 years, called Rainbow Bar and Grill. I have a community that I make music with there that I've been doing for about 8 years now called Jam Nation. And we do a twice a month show at Rainbow Bar and Grill. And that's where Strings, this movie, was born. So to wrap that up, Kill a Mind, the guy you mentioned, and Casey, the guy who stars in the film. And even in the film, when you see like the Jam Nation promo in the beginning, that's where it all started, was the Rainbow Bar and Grill, where I'm a resident performer.
Awesome. And that's right down the road on Lancashire here, right?
No, that's
No,
Universal Bar and
that's
Grill,
Universal Bar and Grill. Okay.
where we also did the show once a month for about 5 or 6 years. So that was
Okay.
our other venue. Yeah, which is why it's in the movie as well.
Cool. And we're going to get to the movie here in a sec
Yeah,
because it's spectacular. So it's interesting to hear how this movie got produced out of your environment, which is really cool. And
exactly.
I wanted to go for your produce your passion story. What was the moment when you knew you were going to take this path? When you decided, you know what, I'm going to really do this artist stuff. Was there a
Well,
particular moment for you where you just like
there
made
there
that
is.
decision?
There is. Well, I knew it a long time ago. Whenever I was like back in high school, I was pretty much set up to be an artist since I was like very young. I was in the classes through middle school all the way through high school, the gifted and talented programs, and I was like pretty academic. Like I always excelled in math, and that kind of translated into visual arts. I'm really just a pattern-based thinker, and I'm able to put things together like that. So I always was kind of, for a lack of a better word, groomed to be an artist. And when I was about 18 to 24, like I said, I was like full time making music and as a performer in my band. And I always knew that this was going to be the route for me. I knew that I was going to die a musician. And that I never gave up on. I never lost sight of that. But with that said, there always comes a point in an artist's life where you do question because it's not always so easy and it's always ups and downs, and those downs when they come they hit hard, and it's a struggle financially and mentally, and like making you question your purpose and like what you're doing. So I did go through this phase a few years ago, probably like 3 years ago, and I was sitting there literally like looking for jobs, applying for jobs, like 3 months of applying for jobs, and I never even got called back because I don't even have a resume. I don't have any prerequisites for a job or credentials. And at the end of that grind, I was sitting there like, wait, I just spent 3 months of my life trying to get a job that I just know I'm going to hate. And I haven't done anything for myself. I haven't done any of my hustles to like pay my rent or anything. And I had this moment where I said, I could spend the rest of this year trying to find a job, 9 to 5, that I'm going to hate, or I can double down on myself and truly commit to the artist path that I know that's inside of me, that has been inside of me since I was a kid. And I made that decision, and I stopped searching for jobs, and I started making my movie. And I just did all the things and found the discipline and locked in and to really achieve the goals that I always wanted to do, and stopped being lazy about it. And that was the turning point where I realized, like, yes, this is a valuable lifestyle. Yes, my dreams are going to come true. Yes, I'm an artist and it's worth it, you know?
I love that. Beautifully said, my friend. I relate to you all too well. I've
Yeah.
gone through and am constantly going through the same battle, because society's the thing. If you're not an artist, people that aren't artists don't get it. Like don't get
Yeah.
like what it feels like to constantly be working against everybody. Like, oh, just go get a job and go do this, and it's just like you don't get it. Like we understand we got
Yeah.
to pay bills and whatnot, but there's also, like you said, you have this thing inside you that you can't turn off.
It's
Like it
so
doesn't go
true.
away.
It's so true. And money comes and goes. Like that's
Sure.
the thing. It's like we could go get a job, tomorrow we could get a new job. We could continue down that path. Money will come and go. So I don't really, of course, we need to pay our bills. And like I've worked very hard to have my side businesses doing marketing and videography for local business and stuff that keeps me going, that enables me to fulfill my passions and spend, 3 weeks out of the month working on my stuff. And it's like, so that doesn't intimidate me, the fact that like there's going to be the ups and downs. And right now, I might not be swimming in gold or anything, but I am confident. And that's what pushes me to just keep doing it, because money comes and goes. I know that for a fact. But also, it just depends on your scenario and where you are in life. It's not that simple. And sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you get unlucky, and you got to make ends meet.
There's a season for everything. Yeah, there's time. There's nothing wrong with having a job. Yeah, like you said, you're going to have periods where the money flows, everything's good, and then it doesn't. And then that's
Yeah.
what we like to talk about in Produce Your Passion, which we're going to get to your movie right now, is how do you overcome those obstacles to make it happen with or without resources? So strings.
Yep.
Let's talk about that because that such a beautiful depiction and I thought representation, and I'm biased too because I live in North Hollywood. So I love
Hmm.
seeing all the landmarks and the El Portel Theater and all that stuff. Uh, Such a great, I think, piece that represents a lot of LA artists, whether you're a musician, an actor, a media person, whatever it is, model, anything. Can you tell us that story of this movie and what it's about?
Yeah. Well, in essence, the film is exactly about what we're talking about right now, is the struggle of being an artist and being in a society where it seems like it doesn't want you to be. And it's about having that passion or that thing inside of you that is so important in that vision that no one else can understand because it's unique to your voice, and wanting to dedicate your life to it because it's something that gives you hope every day when you wake up, and using that as your north star even when times are difficult. Like that's what the film is about being that artist to go against all odds to just make it and find a way for yourself. But more importantly than that, the film is about realizing what is important within that world, because a lot of times we'll get caught up with the flashiness of Hollywood, and we'll start to bend ourselves in order to achieve something that we think we want, and we'll diminish our own vision to show up to something that isn't necessarily in line with who we actually are. So that film is really about that full circle process of returning to yourself and returning to the passion and your true north star. And the film Strings, the actual story is about a struggling artist, an LA musician in North Hollywood, who on his last hope is playing his show at the Rainbow Bar and Grill and gets approached by a manager. And now this manager in this story is a street guy. He's a hip hop guy. He's a rap guy who's built an empire off of his shenanigans, really, while also making great music and building a big business with a business mindset. But his world is what we see way too often, in my opinion, in the music industry, in all levels of it. A bunch of hooligans playing games and doing everything they can to maintain power, and creating drama and beef and things that just aren't really necessary towards achieving like a goal and being like yourself. And it's like, so what you see in this film is this manager, this street guy, signs this aspiring artist who's desperate for a way to figure it out, only to play games with him, only to send him in circles and pull him away from everything that he loves and knows. He wants to do this, and this is what he does, and this is what people do in the music industry. They take them and they bend them and mold them to be what they want with all these empty promises, only for them to be sitting back and laughing at the whole process. And it's this poor guy in the film who just wants a shot at making a living of pursuing his dreams and making music. He's getting forced away from everything he knows and loves, and this manager is twisting his brain and brainwashing him to leave his girl, turn into this person, this negative person that isn't who this person is. So this story specifically is about how far will an aspiring artist go to realize their dreams, and how much will they give up themselves in order to accomplish that. And the story is about the full circle of returning home and returning to who you truly are and letting your heart guide you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it relates to, I think, the acting industry too out here
Oh,
in a way. Like you talk
absolutely.
about people becoming, and again, it gives the perception of like, it is when you do get out here, you're like, oh, this is a business. Like there is a certain way people do things. And a lot of times when you're going through some of this, like, man, this isn't even why I set out to do this. I
Yeah,
wanted,
exactly.
and Casey did a spectacular job, by the way,
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
film. He was really
yeah.
good. How did that ignite with you two, really quick, before I go into more
Great
stuff?
question. I
Yeah,
love this story. So it goes
yeah.
back to what I said before. We've been resident performers at the Rainbow Bar and Grill for 7 or 8 years now. Casey, Killamine, and I. and we've been making music together for so long. Just to give you context of that, we do the show called Jam Nation, and we do like this 3 hour show where we make up songs on the spot all night long. And we get amazing crowds and dancers, and we cycle out and let a bunch of musicians play. And it's really a platform for discovery of self and networking and just giving everybody a safe place to, sharpen their swords and express themselves. So Casey and I have been making music for so long, and this movie Strings, I knew that I was making this movie, and I had always wanted to make the indie music drama. And I sat on the script for probably like 6 years after I had written it. And I was always scouting actors. I was like, who can I get to act in this? And I had, some producers on it, and we were casting it, and we had the director, and they were doing the Hollywood production, but it fell through. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. This needs to be a snapshot of my life. Like, this needs to be the real thing, us on the ground out in this city with our cameras. And so it dawned on me one day, it like clicked in my head. I was like, wait a second, Casey might be the perfect candidate for this film. One, because he's got an amazing singing voice. He literally just, as you saw in the film, all those songs are recorded live with the lav and the boom. None of that is pre-recorded. None of it's mixed or edited or produced. It's literally the raw sound, just the mono recording from the lav with the guitar and his voice, everything. And I knew I would get that from Casey. So one day it hit me like a brick wall, and I said, Casey, I have this interesting project, and I'm wondering if one day you want to do a screen test with me. And so I went to his apartment, and we shot that opening scene, that beautiful scene where he sings the song Quest of a Man. And immediately I knew that all of this happened for a reason. All the years jamming at the Rainbow, all was this pivotal moment where it came together for us to make this film. And so I said, okay, Casey, you got the job. I want to make this movie passively over the next like 2 years where we can see us grow, and we shoot it when we can get the locations, when we can make it happen. And I don't have any money to spend on it, but I have the camera and I got the skill. So what do you think? And so we set off on this quest, and we just started shooting whatever scenes we could get. And so every time in the script, then the new characters would come up, and we would have to find someone to come play the characters. And we were auditioning a couple people to play the manager, and no one was clicking right. No one was clicking right. And then it was the same exact feeling I had about Casey with Kill a Mine. I woke up one day, and it just hit me like a brick wall. I said, wait, Kill a Mine, my other Jam Nation partner, might be the perfect manager for this. And what happened whenever I asked him to do the screen test, he flipped the character and he brought his own self into it in a way that elevated it so much. And I knew that whenever I thought to do the screen test, because originally it was like an older guy, like a really stern, really hardcore, aggressive, like disciplined man. But then I realized, wait, Kill a Mine's going to bring a street element into this. And that element is exactly what I knew was going to make this character. And then so it was the same story with Kill a Mine. I had a brick wall moment, a light bulb moment where I said, wait, maybe he should be it. And then when I paired them up, I realized we had a film. I realized we had a Jam Nation film. I realized we had a film that was born out of the Rainbow and born out of the community that we had been building for so long.
I have to shout out Kill a Mine too. He was spectacular.
Yeah, he really did an amazing job.
Him and Casey's dynamic, yeah, I really, really loved him. And that's an incredible story. And the one part in the movie that kept talking to me afterwards there was many, but it was the moment where Casey and the guy who worked in the guitar shop were eating at the hot dog stand, I think it was.
Yes.
And the guy at the guitar shop had already like been in the quote unquote industry. And he said, I'm paraphrasing it, but he said something along the lines he's like, you start to realize like what you thought you wanted was just all a fantasy. Like it's not what you think it is. And I'm just like, oh my God, he's so right about that. Like, cause when you get out here, I didn't grow up from out here, so when I got, you're just thinking L.A., Hollywood, and then you actually go down to Hollywood. You go, oh, it's not as big as I thought it was down here. It's actually,
Yep.
it's like, but it's still great. But it is that. Do you actually love this, or are you just chasing what you think this is, or mirage,
Exactly.
if you will? And that really hit, man. That was really, because you'll really be tested out here, whether you
You
love it or
will.
not. You've seen it. I've seen it. People come and go like a revolving door. I mean, it's just
Exactly.
because it's very hard.
Well, yeah. So first off, shout out to Addison, who
Addison,
played
okay.
that character Sonny in the movie. He's in an amazing band called Rose Colored World with his girl Ray. So Addison and Ray, Rose Colored World, check them out. They are literally the next up and coming pop rock band. And I'm very blessed to have them in the movie. They're friends of mine that they've been in this scene forever too. And that exactly that moment in that film sums it all up. And really, that moment in the film is the turning point in which Casey's character starts his journey back home, that circle back to his heart, basically. And that's exactly what it is, because when we're first starting on this endeavor, we're guided by this fantasy. We're guided by this idea that we could be something and we can join this club of famous people, rich people, whatever it is that you want, but we're guided by this allure that we could be something and see ourselves on this grand stage and on TV and hear ourselves, and we want to be that so bad. But I truly think that it goes back to the first thing that we said. It's like, yeah, that's what starts us off, but you're going to have your ups and downs. And until you hit rock bottom with that and you realize it's just a fantasy and a mirage, that's when you find yourself. And then that's when you find your real purpose. And then that's when you step up and you make the art for yourself. And that's when you actually might be able to make it. Just the same story as your podcast right now. Same story as my film. It's like, I'm not, I have no cares about Hollywood. I have no cares about making it and being among the ranks of these celebrities and all these people that are doing it. I like the art because it gives me something to do that I love doing. I like the moment. I like the moment of the creation. I like to be out there with my feet, with my hands on the camera, with my hands on my guitar. When I'm in the studio recording a song, it's not about how perfect you can make it. It's not about the hours you spend mixing and producing. It's not about competing with that record or trying to copy that. It's just about the moment of the creation and how it makes you feel good and makes your heart fuzzy, and it's about the connections that you make along the way when you are being an artist. And that realization is the most important thing that you could possibly have whenever you're an artist trying to make it in this industry, because suddenly the facade of Hollywood and success goes away and you're just doing it for you. And that is the turning point for me and for what I think is the right thing for other artists out there trying to figure out if they're going to make it.
No, absolutely. And we've already addressed, but I want to talk about some of the obstacles you faced when making this film. Like right off the bat, you said, there's no money for this.
Yeah.
But I love how you said, but I have the equipment and I have the skill.
Yes.
So can you talk about the obstacles you faced making this film, and how did you overcome those to make it happen?
Yeah. So, as with any project, any film project, anything that you set your mind to, there's going to be obstacles and challenges. And it's really how you adapt in under pressure and how you adapt in the moment to achieve what you need. So, some of the obstacles with this, let's think back to the original script. The original script had several more characters in it that I realized I had to slash. Like, I'm not going to get that. I don't even have anyone in mind. Now our film is running longer than I think. And it's just about the adapting. So, one, the biggest obstacle is working with what you got. Well, we don't have the crew, we don't have the locations, we don't have the budget. We're working with the community. We're working with the locations that are going to allow us to come in and shoot, and we have a small amount of time to do it. So we have to take what we dream of accomplishing and we have to redefine it in the moment in order to accomplish the most minimal basic version of what you need to tell the story. And that is one of the obstacles because you don't have the resources to produce it out to your grand vision that you have in the beginning. So, but with that said, like these obstacles are actually blessings because it forces you to think. It forces you to find what's truly important in the chaos. And so if there's like originally a scene where we have 3 pages and all this stuff going on, but we only have an hour in this location, it's like, well, what's the scene truly about? It's about this. If we could say it in one sentence, it's like, well, now suddenly all this other stuff that we were going to shoot doesn't even matter. Let's just chop it. And don't be afraid to chop it. Just get to the point and get to the point of what you need. So from a creative standpoint, those were some big obstacles was like, how are we adapting the script on the fly to get what we can to stay straight on the story? And then beyond that, obstacles, logistical obstacles like crew and camera equipment. Now, with this film, of course, it's obstacles with like equipment and crew like that, but also it was never really a daunting thing because I know my aptitude for this stuff and I'm excited for this kind of thing. So like this film truly was a one man crew. I had a couple people every now and then come hold the boom pole, like someone from Jam Nation who's not necessarily a filmmaker or audio person at all, but it's like, hey, just hold this. But that was only probably 10, 20% of the time, if even. And it was really the challenge for me, which isn't so much an obstacle, but the challenge was how do I get these shots with this time and use my skill and believe in myself in order to accomplish it. And so what you see in all those shots, like every shot was lit, but I'm using minimal lighting. It's like I got 1, 2 lights max. It's like, okay, I use what I got. 2 lights on a stand, bam. The don't have enough time, don't have the rigging for the cameras. I got 1 lens. I got barely any media, 2 batteries. If I don't get this in the next 2 hours, then I'm going to be toast and this is a waste of our time. So it's really the ongoing obstacle of just chipping away and making sure that you're getting what you need in the moments when you have the opportunity to do it. So for me, that's the biggest obstacle is just sticking with it, simply sticking with it and not letting the things that come across and say, oh, shoot, we can't shoot there now. Dang, we're not going to have the light for this. Dang, I don't have an audio person. Okay, whatever, I'm figuring it out. Give me some duct tape and I'll tape the boom pole on top of a dresser, and hang it off, and then I'm going to figure it out anyway. So that's like the obstacle for this film is just like, how do you get the production and just accomplish the important parts of what you need out of the script to tell the story in this limited time with limited resources. And that is like a lifestyle, and it becomes a lifestyle. And I live for those obstacles and those challenges because whenever you accomplish it and you get it done, what happens? You go home and you feel like you're on top of the world. And so this film specifically was sort of designed to be that way. And I love that style of filmmaking. And I don't even want to say it's obstacles. It's just a challenge. And I challenge myself. And I know that's the challenge going in.
Man, well, preach. That's and I love how you said when you don't have as much to work with, or you have to cut time, or take cast members out. I was like, what are we really trying to say here? Like,
Yeah,
it does force you when you have less resources to really get to the point of whatever it is you're doing. And in addition, it just makes you better. Because if you can
exactly.
do what you did with nothing, imagine what you can do with a little bit of a budget now.
Yeah, exactly. Which is funny because, like, I have some other films that I've been making. I have a few films now in various levels of budget. But this is my favorite, and this is my favorite style of filmmaking. And I already know that I am going to follow this one up with another film, and it's not going to be a music drama or anything, but I'm going to follow it up with the exact same community effort with the $0 budget with my camera and the squad around me and some of the same actors and everything on the streets of LA.
I love this film. I love everything you're about. I'm getting to the next part of the segment here, which is, so there's going to be 2 camps of people. The first camp of people, for those people that feel a passion inside of them, they're listening to this, you're looking you up, you're a filmmaker, you're a musician. They're like, man, I really want to do something like Tyler's doing. But they're not
Yeah.
taking action for whatever reason. They're using money as an excuse. They're letting what people think of them to be an excuse, whatever it is, what can you tell those people that want to produce their passion but haven't taken the action yet?
Good question. So those are both two valid excuses, and I have dealt with that, and I still deal with it. If you're low on funds and you got a song you want to promote, but you have no possible way to advertise it through money, like that's a big thing that'll set you back and make you depressed. Another thing that I've truly, truly dealt with for a long time is what other people think of you. So, like, think about being a musician, and this is the epiphany I've had recently, and this is the best thing I could possibly say about this is when I was in the band when I was younger, and then there was this like probably a 10-year gap where I was still always writing and recording music and producing, but I wasn't like releasing my music and I wasn't promoting it because I didn't know what my identity was. And I wasn't confident in myself. And that was the source of why I felt like I cared so much about what other people thought about me. And I didn't think that I was quite good enough or I wasn't all the way there with myself to put out the music. And that was like an identity crisis. And so I mentioned my artist project, Rowdy Hop. It really wasn't until Rowdy Hop came around that I really felt like I locked in with my identity, and all those things went out the window. The stuff about caring what other people think, didn't care because I felt like I finally locked into something that I believed in that represented who I am, and it gave me an identity away from my like actual self to where I could do my music and perform the way that I always loved to do it. And so on the other side of that hill, to answer the actual question, it's like, what do you say to people that, get in their own way when they don't have the money or they care about what other people think? It's like, well, the cold hard fact is you got to you got to recognize that as a distraction. And you got to realize that those things aren't what's holding you back. What's actually holding you back is your ability to wake up and put your mind forward and to actually use your gift in small incremental ways every day and put the work forward. Because when you get immersed in the work, those distractions go away, and they really just become excuses and they set you back because they prevent you from going full force. Now, I relate that to the identity crisis because maybe there's people that are using that as an excuse because like they care about what other people think because they haven't found that identity for themselves all the way yet. And I just think that's such an important thing to talk about because I lived it for so long. And I just think it really comes down to discipline. And that's not the answer that you really want because it means hard work. But it really comes down to discipline and it comes down to what we were talking about in the beginning, which is embracing that this is going to be a grind and you're not going to get the results that you want immediately. And perhaps you never get the exact results that you want. That and understanding that is liberating because then it becomes about the moment. If you love to create, then that's the point. That's the whole purpose. The whole point is because it fulfills you in the moment and every day when you're able to make this work. As long as we're on our 2 feet and we're breathing and we're able to live, then everything else is a distraction towards the truth, which is your heart. So if you're struggling with like no money, it's like, okay, you don't have any money, so find new ways to promote your stuff. Think outside the box a little bit. Find something that's given you some kind of result and stick with it and just build upon it. Even if it seems like you're screaming into the void sometimes, if you are, well, navigate it and just think. Use your discipline and your intelligence to push yourself forward. And if it's the identity thing, I think that's a personal journey. We can't really tell somebody who they are, what they want, and to be confident in themselves, but spend some time thinking about it and really, truly look at your reflection and decide who you are and what you want to put out in the world. And when you accept that, like I said, then the other things, they become a distraction. But the most important thing is the discipline. And that's just the cold, hard fact. And that's what no one wants to hear because it means hard work. But you got to wake up and choose you every day. And you got to choose your work and you got to believe it.
I love that. Yeah. Discipline, at least in my opinion, gets you through not only the mental, but the emotional obstacles you'll face because discipline just keeps going, whether you feel like doing it or you don't feel like doing it.
Yep.
Discipline, really, because there's a saying getting thrown around, or we've talked about it's better to have discipline than motivation sometimes.
Motivation, inspiration is a mirage. You'll spend 2 years of your life saying, "Oh, I'm not inspired. Nothing's inspiring me." So that doesn't mean your skill is any different. Like inspiration and motivation comes from the discipline. When you have the discipline to open up Pro Tools and start recording your guitar, or pick up the canvas and put that brush stroke on there, if you have the discipline to start, the motivation and inspiration will follow. So not having the motivation and inspiration, honestly, is bullshit. And it starts with the discipline and your choice to do something. If we didn't have the discipline, we wouldn't have a finished film. If you didn't have the discipline, you wouldn't be doing this podcast. And if you don't have the discipline, you're going to use excuses like, "Oh, I feel judged by these people," or "Oh, I don't know who I am," or all of these things. If you can't choose yourself every day, you're not going to make it. You're not going to be able to accomplish your dreams.
I love that. Well, the answer may be similar for this next question I have, and I'll preface it with, someone on this podcast termed it, they call it the muddle. That middle phase, stuck in the middle, stuck in the mud. Just with anything, an art project, a startup, whatever it is, it's always fun in the beginning when you get that, oh yeah, we're doing this. And at the end when you complete it, but those middle phases, like the
Yep.
middle of editing something after you've filmed it and oh man, now we got to edit it and put it together. What advice would you have for those that are producing their passion, but they're hitting like their heads against a wall? They feel stuck. They don't see the light at the end of the tunnel or the void, if
Yeah,
you will.
it is the same thing. And Murphy's Law, what goes up must come down. There's going to be peaks and valleys to any endeavor. When you're an artist, you're essentially starting a business and you're trying to find a way to monetize yourself. Because another realization that might help with your discipline is the fact that no one's coming to rescue you. It's very rare that you're going to get selected. I don't want to wait to get picked from auditioning. I might waste 15 years of my life waiting to get selected. And when you realize that, then you gotta take it in your own hands. But with those ups and downs, like you're gonna come down, and it's okay to step away for a while, and it's okay to collaborate. It's okay to take the weight off your shoulders and not beat yourself up over having it done immediately. But that doesn't mean you take a permanent vacation from what your dream is. It's okay to step away and refresh and do something else for a second, but it's just these small little incremental steps that you can take every day. As long as your mind's working and you're flexing your muscle, then you'll get it done. And whenever you get it done, just imagine how good you'll feel. Even if nothing comes from it, who cares if you even make money off of it in the end, because you did it and it connects with people. And it is your divine purpose to do this. If you feel it and you have something that you must say, and it's so unique to who you are, it is literally a divine purpose. And you are wasting your gift if you get stuck in that muddle and you don't do anything about it. The only way to get out is to start climbing. Literally put your hands on that wall and just freaking go and use those muscles. And that's just like anything else in life. Don't use it, you'll lose it. So I just think that it is answered. The answer is the discipline, because if we don't have the discipline to step forward and do what we think we need to do, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. We're wasting our divine gift, our unique vision, our thing that someone out there in the world truly, truly needs to hear and to have in their life in order to fix them and to help them push forward and realize their truth and express themselves and emote and connect and find the light in the dark. Like that, just always remember that you have a gift, a divine gift. It's okay to step away and refresh and get out of the mud for a second, but that doesn't mean you can give up. And if you do, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your life, your purpose. So if you have a big thing that says, put it on the wall, like massive in your room, the first thing that says, "I did this for a long time. I wrote divine gift on a giant board. And every day I woke up and I saw that. And every day I didn't take action towards my divine gift and I didn't accept that and I didn't do something to push it forward, I felt so guilty. And eventually that guilt overcame the muddle. The guilt overcame the depression. And then that guilt of not chasing my divine gift and utilizing my purpose forced me to have the discipline and to step forward and just actually do it. And now we have it done and we get to sit back and say, wow, maybe I am special. Maybe I did do something that is really great and it was worthy. And just the fact that I was able to do it makes me feel so good and accomplished. So just look at that North Star and just imagine what it's going to be like when it is done. Nothing comes easy.
Yeah, well said, my friend. Yeah, this has been wonderful. I really glad to have connected with you and met you and gotten your perspective. And it just reminds me, this is one of the best things I love about LA. Like people are
Hmm.
going to criticize, this is what's good, this is what's bad. For me personally, it's the people. Like I've met
Yeah.
so many amazing people, and then just coming across you randomly, through
Yep.
Killer Mind, and it's just like it really is eye opening. Like because we all have come here, we all are cut from a similar cloth. We may be doing different things, but we all share like this common denominator and outlook on life. So it's really been a gift to connect with you, man. I really enjoy the
Yeah,
things
man,
you
we
say.
do. We all share that outlook on life. That's the important thing. And the more you're in tune with yourself, the more you see that in other people. For some people, this industry is a competition. Making music is a competitive thing, and like everyone wants to be the best and wants to be the man, and you'll get big timed left and right. But the more you're actually in tune, the more you go and you force yourself through that muddle, you'll start to see the gifts in other people. And you'll start to see not what they can do for you. It's not about what you can do for you, they can do for you, but it's just about the collective energy of everybody moving forward together. And I see that in you. You came to the film, you saw it, you genuinely loved it. And I looked it up and I saw the podcast and I see the same thing. I see the discipline and I see the passion and I see the North Star. And I just think that if we're all here and we're able to accept that we all have a unique vision, then we can all go places, just from the support system of just being that tangle of artists that are fulfilled and fueled by the love of what we do and knowing that we're all unique and it doesn't have to be a competition.
Oh, I love that. And thank you for the kind words. And yeah, we're all working for the greater collective consciousness, and we're just playing whatever role that we need to play to do it. And this has
Exactly.
been extraordinary. Yeah, absolutely. And before we get out of here and get to last words and where to find you, do you have anything else that you wanted to share before we get out of here?
No, just check out Rowdy Hop, my music project. Be on the lookout for Strings, the film. I have some other films coming out pretty soon. So if you just are interested in that, just follow along the journey and be a part of it. If this is something that you're interested in and you want to do similar things, like everybody just start talking and find common ground and find a place where you can do it. And there's just so much to explore out in the world, and there's so much fulfillment in being an artist. So no matter what, just don't give up. Just don't. Even if you got to go flip burgers at McDonald's, don't give it up.
Hell yeah, man. And Tyler, for people to follow you and everything you're doing, where are the best places for people to look you up online, follow you, get a hold of you? Where should people go?
Yeah, so I'm fairly active on Instagram. I'm not a huge social media person, but I do it. Tyler Forrest Music is my main account, but now I really am doing Rowdy Hop, like I keep saying. So go to Rowdy Hop. Instagram is just Rowdy Hop all across the board, and that'll kind of lead you to where we go. But all my films and stuff are on my other one, Tyler Forrest Music. So check that out. And I got my website, tylerforrest.com, rowdyhop.com, and the movie is Strings Movie. That's the Instagram for that. And everybody, if you see this and you want to chat and you have a project you want eyes on or something, reach out. And I'm a big community person. Like, I just want this whole community to go. All ships rise with the tide. So, yeah, that's about it, man.
Man, I love it. And I gotta, before we get your final word, I gotta acknowledge you said you're big on community. Like I'm really in Produce Your Passion, we talk about the creative tribe. Like having those
Yep.
people with you. And for me personally, that has become more pivotal the longer I've been on the journey because the money and even some of the mental stuff you get by, but then it's like those really, really low moments where you have those other people who are like, oh man, I went through that last week.
Yep.
or yeah, oh yeah, man, yeah, you'll get through it. And that support system that people,
Yeah.
where you don't have to hide who you are. You don't have to,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Instead of them questioning you and putting it down, they're going to be like, oh wow, that's so cool. How can I help?
Exactly.
And that's what I love
Yeah.
about LA too. It's filled with people like
Community
that.
is everything. And if you don't have a community around you, just determine what your vision is and go find one. If you're a musician, you're welcome to come to Jam Nation twice a month at Rainbow Bar and Grill, first and third Thursday of every month. It's a very open environment for musicians to come and find and network and meet each other. We've had people come in and get discovered and go blast off, and it's not about that. It's just about having the community, that support system, the scene, and something that you belong to, that you believe in. And through that community is how we made this film. So that is a testament to the power of community.
Awesome. Tyler, well, thank you so much. And hang around for just a second, but before you do you have any final words for us?
No, let's go. Let's just do it. Let's keep going.
Sounds great, brother. Well, Tyler, thank you so much, and best of luck with everything you're doing. I can't wait to see all of it unfold, and definitely let me know when that next Strings premiere is going to be too, because I definitely want to tell a lot of people about that film.
Definitely will. Yeah, thanks, Sam. I think you rock, man. So let's just keep the conversations going.
Thank you. You too, Tyler. You rock as well. Thank you so much.
All right, bro.
Thank you for tuning in. To learn more, go to produceyourpassion.com.